So in case you didn't know, after Donald Trump had the assassination attempt, there was then the RNC the next day, I believe. And at the RNC, there was a little bit of diversity, and some people weren't too happy about it. Amber Rose made an appearance, brown people made an appearance, brown people's culture made an appearance, and a lot of people on the right wing weren't too happy to see it. So we're gonna look into this. You know, as Elon would say, I'm gonna look into this to see what happened. We got Matt Walsh here saying Trump has just reached mythic status by defying death and surviving an assassination attempt, and the GOP decides that the best next move is to have him sit and listen to a star talk about diversity. Brilliant move. Thanks, guys. Okay, why is Matt Walsh complaining about Trump being in the presence of a star? This is an individual who literally had sex with a porn star behind his wife's back and literally paid to cover the entire story up. Why are y'all trying to tell Trump what he might like? For all you know, maybe he want to sit there and see Amber. You don't know that. You don't know he don't like Amber Rose. Why y'all deciding stuff for him? He already has shown that he's got a thing for porn. Why are you trying to hate on what he got going on? Just because he got shot at, that means he all... Hey, after being shot at, maybe he might want to see a star. I mean, you don't know what... Bro, he almost died. So apparently Amber Rose said, these are my people. This is where I belong at the RN... Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. Okay. This is crazy optics. Why is she there? I gotta, like... Matt Walsh is being a hater, but at the same time, I have to admit, what is she even doing there? Amber Rose, these are not your people. You had a walk. You did all kind of crazy. Like, this is not your space at all. In any capacity. I don't even know why we're pretending like you belong there. She doesn't even know what she's doing. How many people spoke at the RNC? I could swear like every Republican in the country got up on that stage. Literally every single one. And Amber Rose. So Nick Fuentes says 200 black guys, the Goya Bean CEO, a with a face tattoo, and David Sachs, your new GOP. If you're black and you support the Republican Party, read this. Pay attention to this. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. If you think Nicholas Fuentes is not the future of the GOP, you're wrong. Right-wing politics today only grows further and further and further more radical and insane. If you think Nick Fuentes is not the future of the GOP, you are living in a fantasy. He's back on Twitter. He's back in the game. He's growing his audience. He's spreading even more anti-Semitism than last time. If you think Nick Fuentes is not the future of the GOP, I don't know what to tell you. Everything points in that direction. And he's saying 200 black guys. Is that even true? Were there actually 200 black guys? Is that true? Is that actually true? Like, if that's true, that's crazy. The Goya beans, what's wrong with Goya? They sell more than just beans too, though. They sell seasoning. Like, is this nigga against seasoning? Like, I'm going to assume the Goya bean CEO is not white. I'm going to assume he's Hispanic. With a face tattoo, I'm assuming that's Amber Rose, and David Sachs, your new GOP. I mean, what was Nick expecting to be there? Nick, you do realize your party can't just go full on, we don't like minorities, right? I mean, I know that's what the eventual plan is, but like, come on. Be realistic, Nick. But I'm just telling you, if you're a black voter and you're voting Republican, this is the future of the Republican Party. Candace Owens, as we speak, is making Hitler apologetic videos on her channel. They found a black woman to do their dirty work. If you think right now that this is not a reflection of where things are going, you are delusional. Let's go deeper. Pause. Nicholas again. After bringing on a stripper who was famous for taking black up her. Okay, Nick, how can you be so anti-black people but also love Kanye? I'm going to assume that it's because Kanye accomplished so many amazing things that the average person could never reach, that now he's like equal to white people, I'm assuming. How can Nick, how does he juxtapose? Like, how does he make this work? How do you not like black folk but simultaneously hang around Kanye? And Kanye's like Nick's hero. So it's like, what is that? Like, what is, like, I would actually, like, if I ever debated Nick, I'd ask him, like, genuinely, like, what goes on in your mind with this? And then an immigrant who struggles to speak English lecturing us on the wonders of legal immigration. I know, no, I pray they did not actually just bring on a Sikh woman to recite an ancestral prayer at the American RNC. It is over, folks. It's time for curtains. Thank you for coming. Okay. Why is Nick so negative? I'm not gonna lie. Why is Nick so negative? Okay, look, I'm gonna say this. If you are Indian or Sikh and you support the right wing, you are retarded. Vivek Ramaswamy is an idiot. I don't know what it's gonna take for people who are non-white Anglo-Saxon, and even just non-white in general. If you think this movement is your friend, you're wrong. Nicholas J. Fuentes is the future of the Republican Party. Just give it time, I promise you. I'm just telling you right now, this far-right, anti-immigrant, anti-black, anti-all of that, it's growing ever stronger. It's growing ever stronger. And the reality of the situation is, Vivek Ramaswamy himself was told to his face by Ann Coulter that I would vote for you, but you're an Indian. The man was born in Ohio. Sure, he's of Indian descent. He's of Indian culture. He married an Indian woman. But Vivek Ramaswamy, despite being a charismatic candidate, despite being a billionaire, despite being a family man, despite not having star scandals and document scandals and all kind of craziness and insurrectionist charges, despite all of those things, Vivek Ramaswamy was just not good enough because he wasn't white. He got lapped by Nikki Haley, who was pretending to be white, and then Ron DeSantis, who was pretending to be Trump. How is that possible? Like, bruh, this man, Vivek Ramaswamy, was literally full of crap, a liar, but nonetheless, an effective liar, a very popular liar, okay? And he still got lapped by two frauds. It's because you're brown, is basically the truth. Someone's gonna meme that, whatever. Anyways, it's true. Read what Nick is saying. I pray they did not actually just bring on a Sikh woman to recite an ancestral prayer at the American RNC. But these people don't fuck with you. If you think that because you're not black, you are welcomed into their movement, you are an idiot. It's always funny to me when non-black Americans of color come to this country and tell us how white Americans feel about race. You don't know these people. You just got here. No offense, I don't mean to sound like Nick, but it's true. There are so many Republican people of color who think they understand white American racism better than black Americans. No, you don't. That's why there's Vivek Ramaswamy being told he won't be voted for because he's brown. That's why you see all the stuff going on. That's why Dinesh D'Souza called Nick Fuentes the Rosa Parks of Twitter, and then a year later, Nick Fuentes told Dinesh D'Souza that, you know, your name doesn't really sound like a name that would be on the Declaration of Independence, and you come from a country of people who shit in public, therefore, you can't tell Trump to disavow white supremacy. So in Dinesh D'Souza's attempt to gain favor with white supremacists by comparing Nick Fuentes to Rosa Parks, Nick, a year later, basically told him, you're brown. Yeah, you think you're on our team, but don't start getting uppity. Remember your place. You don't get to tell Trump whether he can or can't associate with white nationalists and supremacists. If you are brown, Sikh, Indian, Pakistani, if you are Southeast Asian, no matter what the race, these people are not your friends. Do you actually believe Black America is afraid of this movement for no reason? You think you know something we don't know? Newsflash, you don't. Sorry to tell you, but you don't. I'll be the one to say it. Since no one else is willing to say it to you, I'll say it. If you are even the black conservatives, because Candace thinks she's a part of the club, you're black. Some of y'all, Mexicans, Indians, Sikhs are really chill. Indians are really, really chill too. But a lot of y'all conservatives of color who are non-white, a lot of you conservatives of color really think you're a part of the club. I don't know how many times you need to be reminded that you're not. Like, I'm not understanding. Like, you really think you're a part of the team. How many times do you have to read messages like this before y'all realize it's not the case? I will never not laugh at Nick going off on Dinesh. Never. I will never not laugh. It was hilarious. Oh, he's the Rosa Parks of Twitter? He got some for your ass. I thought the rant was hilarious. It was racist. I condemn it. But if you want to engage in racism in this country and you get it reflected toward you, I can't feel bad for you. Let's see what's next. Nick again. Trump VP pick JD Vance. A lot of people recognize that we need to do something with Iran, but not these weak little bombing runs. If you're going to punch the Iranians, you punch them hard. So now the Republicans are now promoting the idea of war with Iran, despite the fact that, like, there's literally no need to escalate with them right now. We just escaped World War III after Iran tried to blow up Israel, and y'all are about to get on stage and okay. I can't believe that Trump and Vance have had me agreeing with Nick today. Okay. Chaos. Hey, look, bro. This is why the right will implode on itself. They have I don't know, like, one side treats Jewish people like they're human beings because they are. The other side is just disgusted with even seeing them on camera. Like, look at, like, bruh, they don't like, bruh, like, what is gonna happen to the right? Like, even if they don't win in November, which I pray they don't, they're gonna implode. How can you sustain this? Bro, they don't even like the sight of Jewish people. Keith Wood says, comes within an inch of death. GOP handed once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to give him the most badass return ever. Sits him down to listen to a speech by a stripper with a head tattoo. Y'all don't know that Trump don't want to see that. How y'all know y'all don't know that? Maybe he does want to see a stripper. You don't know that. Shit. It's a lot of niggas who, if they got shot at and almost got killed, you know, they might sit there and, you know, you don't know that. Why y'all hating? Y'all just assuming shit. Trump been hanging around porn star. How y'all put that? Y'all think because you conservative, he's conservative. I don't like, but why y'all be pretending that Trump is a conservative? Are y'all still pretending that? Y'all still playing that? Multiple baby mamas, messing with porn stars behind his wife's back, right around the time his son Barron was born. Like, why are y'all pretending Trump is a conservative? He's never been that. Stop. Okay, far right conservatives. I know he's your guy, but y'all know this ain't no. Like, stop pretending, please. Like, you can stop. Please. David Icke says, guess who will run the White House again? I don't even want to say this on camera. I don't even want to repeat this. Guess who will run the White House again in all caps under Trump and Vance? The same people who run it. I'm not even going to finish that sentence. Why are they all mad? Maybe they can sing. They got microphones. Maybe they can sing. Why are they hating? Like, what the fuck? This conspiracy theory might be the end of the Republican Party. Like, they will have to confront this eventually. Y'all can't cozy up to these far right wingers and just dance around this conspiracy theory and pretend like it's not real. And you know what's funny is, like, Ben Shapiro and the rest of y'all, Dave Rubin and y'all will have to come to terms with this eventually. Eventually, y'all will end up just like black folk, not voting Republican. Y'all can't stop this. This continues to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. The right wing is becoming increasingly more anti-Semitic as each passing day goes by. Kanye kind of, you know, he brought that shit way back up to the surface. But, like, come the fuck on. Why is David Icke acting like Ivanka's not married to Jared Kushner? Bro, y'all's White House has been, like, you know, affiliated with people of the Jewish community. Why are y'all pretending like you just fit? Like, come on. Like, what are we talking about? How can you have this much hatred in your heart, though? Like, all they're doing is singing. Are y'all that upset? Jaden McNeil says, I'm sure this guy is going to be great on immigration. So here's J.D. Vance with his wife, who seems to be of Indian descent. And because J.D. Vance is married to a brown woman, he can't be good on immigration. Okay. I mean, I like, this man can't even be married to the love of his life without y'all trying to, like, disrespect and besmirch everything associated with his personal life. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. Immigration of who? Because Trump's own wife is an immigrant. What are y'all actually referring to? You're referring to the immigration of non-whites. Y'all don't consider non-whites to be American. Just say that. Just say it. Because at this stage in the game, it's like Trump's own wife was an immigrant. She's got an accent. She can speak English, but she has an accent. Maybe she can't speak English because when she was actually given an opportunity to write a speech for being the first lady of this country, she just plagiarized Michelle Obama's speech. She doesn't have any respect for this country. Imagine you're about to be the first lady and you can't even write your own speech. You just have someone else write it for you. But these people are like, it's crazy how they demonize the elites, the elites, the elites. Trump is the elite. Bro, they're so above the common man, they don't even take the office of the presidency seriously. Oh, I'm the first lady. Write up my speech for me. They think they're royalty. They think they're some kind of aristocracy. America has always been a nation of the common man. The Trump family cannot comprehend anything common, not even common sense itself. The fact that a woman who couldn't even write her own, first lady speech is considered more American than this woman who has yet to even, who was born here, by the way. I've been informed that J.D. Vance's wife was born in the States. The fact that Melania is given more of a pass, despite not even taking being the first lady of the United States seriously enough to write her own speech, the fact that that's okay, but him marrying a brown woman is not, is this is exactly what's wrong with this movement. They're crazy. And if you are non-white and you think this is your political home, your ass is about to get evicted quite soon. You about to find out. When the RNC is in danger of winning, they always come up with solutions. Okay, I'm not even going to repeat that. I'm not going to repeat that. The Republican National Convention is cooked. Why y'all panicking? Your boy just got shot at. He was on top of the world for 24 hours, 48 hours. And y'all panicking because a brown person's on stage. Come on. Harmeet Dillon. Okay, she has an Irish last name, I'm assuming, so she's probably married to a white man. Why y'all freaking out? California Republican Party vice chair? So she's okay. Why they panicking? I don't understand. Is it just because she's brown and Sikh or whatever? I'm not even going to repeat what's in that statement. Okay? I'm not even gonna, I'm just now discovering that slur in the last week. I'm not even gonna repeat it. If you want a vision of the future, imagine a fat white guy with with an Indian wife and kids going on Tucker to complain about the great replacement forever. Hashtag JD Vance. Damn, he can't even be married to a woman who loves him? What the fuck? Bruh. This movement will collapse on itself. I promise you. The level of hatred and disgust they have for anything non-white. Whiteness is so important to them that they will literally defy reality. Donald Trump is a second-generation immigrant. I will bet a significant amount of money they consider any white person, no matter how recently they got here, more American than people who have been here than black people, black Americans. Like myself, or Kanye, or anyone of black American descent. They consider any white person inherently more white, even if that white person just showed up. This movement will collapse on itself. Which whiteness are we aiming for? Anglo-Saxon? The founding fathers didn't want to see Polish and Sicilian and Irish and all that showing up here. They wanted Anglo-Saxon blood. Even a lot of Confederates thought the Anglo-Saxon extraction of the white race was the superior extraction. They didn't want other types of white people here. Is it pick and choose how much discriminatory policies we're going to re-embrace as a nation? Of course it is. America's humiliation ritual in 4K. Oh, Nick has better camera quality. So Nick himself made a video talking about the entire situation involving J.D. Vance's wife having the audacity to be born brown and J.D. Vance having the audacity to pick a brown wife. So let's see what Nick has to say.
Who is this guy really? Do we really expect that the guy who has an Indian wife and named their kid Vivek is going to support white identity? There's a white genocide going on in the world. White people are being systematically replaced in America and Europe through immigration and to a much lesser extent due to intermarrying.
Okay, so hold on. So let me get this straight. So because J.D. Vance has a brown wife, he can't be pro-white identity? Okay, I'll say this. As a black man, I support white people's right to be proud to be white and to be proud of European heritage. See how easy that was? I don't have a problem with a white person being proud to be white. I don't have an issue with it at all. I don't have a single problem with that at all. See how easy that was? See, Nick, I don't think you're asking J.D. Vance to be pro-white identity. I think what you're asking J.D. Vance to be pro is pro-racism. You know that because his wife is brown, he's probably not going to support legislation that harms people of color. Well, he might, maybe specific groups. You know it's going to be really hard to get him to be in favor of that because his children are mixed and his wife is brown. Anybody can be in support of white identity. I support anyone who wants to be proud of their racial heritage. The problem is, y'all want to implement these racial ideas into government to fuck over the lives of people who aren't white. And you know it's going to be really hard to do that in the event that someone in a position of power who's white is married to someone who is non-white. You know they're not going to derail their own children's rights, their own spouse's rights, their own in-laws' rights. You know that. As it pertains to this great replacement theory stuff, this whole great replacement thing, that's not genocide. Like, there's a reason why migrants are being brought into these nations, and the majority of them are economic reasons. That's not genocide, that's just happenstance. I don't have an issue with white people saying, hey, we want to maintain like a 99% majority in European countries. I don't give a fuck, but that's their country. Like, I'm not about to be sitting here saying that, you know, Europe needs to be open to everyone and everywhere else should be closed. I'm not going to say that, but like, to try to frame it as though it's a genocide. How is it a genocide? That's just happenstance. Like, just the wording of it is just accusatory in a way that probably isn't even really accurate.
This guy has
If you can stop a genocide with legislation, it's not a genocide.
non-white wife and a kid named Vivek. This guy is going to be a defender of white identity? I don't think so. This guy's going to defend American identity? If he does, it's going to be no better than any of these other civic nationalists like Vivek Ramaswamy. How else could you countenance American identity if you have a mixed up family like that?
Look, I mean, Nick Fuentes obviously considers Americanhood to be white by default. If you go back far enough, even Nick Fuentes does not belong here. The man, if I recall correctly, is of Mexican heritage and of Italian heritage. So the majority of his white blood probably comes from Spain and Italy. By default, you are not what the Founding Fathers intended to be here. You're Catholic and you're of Spanish and Italian blood. You're not by, like, the founding, and many English descended Americans, even during the Confederacy, thought America was special because it was made up of Anglo-Saxon people, not Catholic, Sicilian, Italian. I'm not sure what region of Italy his family comes from, but like, no, not this. Not what Nick Fuentes is, a Catholic individual of Southern European descent. That is not what the Founding Fathers intended racially. Right? They intended for people like me to be in chains. Yo ass to not be here. There's a lot of stuff they intended. The problem is people like Nick want to draw the line right where they get to fit in. Sure, I may be a Catholic Southern European, but I'm white. If we're going to be true to the intention of those who founded this country, to be honest, the only white people that should be here are people of Anglo-Saxon heritage. Anyone who's not of Anglo-Saxon descent should leave. The problem is Nick Fuentes takes American identity and inherently makes it white, despite the fact that white people are not the only actual Americans. And like I said, this promotes the idea that because someone is white, they're automatically more American than black people. Trump is a second-generation immigrant. Nick Fuentes probably does not have any actual heritage that goes back more than 5 generations. I think he said his family's been here for 4. My family's been here for like 12. His movement considers him more American than me by default, by race. despite the fact that my actual ancestors, both black and white, were here from the beginning of the inception of the colonies and all of that. He's more American in their movement by default. If you are black or brown and you support the Republicans, Trump and all of that, this is the future of their movement. He is. I'm not about to sit here and lie to y'all and be like, oh no, they're gonna keep a leash on Nick. No, the fuck they can't. They can't keep a leash on Nick, bro. They can't. They just can't, bro. He's been around for a while. And he's gaining an audience and in power. He's networking. He's clicking up with Muslims and all kind of folk. And I'm telling y'all, like, the reality is this is not just going away. And to people like Vivek Ramaswamy, you think you have a place in that party? You don't. Marjorie Taylor Greene attended this man's event. They fell out, but still, she was there. These people are not your friends. I'm telling you this right now. Vivek Ramaswamy, who sat there and said Juneteenth shouldn't be a holiday because, you know, the spirit of Juneteenth is already, you know, alive in MLK Day because I guess, you know, civil rights and, you know, slavery, same shit, you know, black people. Vivek thinks he's a part of the American story, despite the fact that we have Nick Fuentes here basically saying no. We don't support civic nationalism. We support ethno-nationalism. He's basically saying it. Despite the fact that Vivek was born here, is an American, they don't want that. They don't want to see Vivek's. They don't want to see JD Vance's wife. They don't want to see his family. They don't want to see that. They don't like that. They don't want to say, they don't fuck with it. I don't know why people of color think this is where you belong. It ain't. It just isn't. And their belief system is so irrational that, like I said before, Donald Trump, who's a second-generation immigrant, is considered more American than people like fucking, I don't know, like I can think of like fucking Denzel Washington. Or someone like myself. Or any other person of black American descent. These are people whose ancestors got here in like the 60s and shit, in the 50s. Like telling everyone else who does or doesn't belong as an American. Many of these people come from European groups that the founding fathers did not want here. And we know that because when a lot of these European groups came to America, the Anglo-Saxon population created slurs for all of them. Slurs for Italians, Polish, Irish. Like, that's the level of racial hatred that existed in this country. The Anglo-Saxon population didn't just hate blacks and brown folk. Even white folk of non-Anglo-Saxon descent were discriminated against for quite some time. Not to the same level of black people and brown people, but there were slurs created for these people, despite them being white. The reality is that these people are picking and choosing which part of America's racial discriminatory history they want to stop at. Let's stop at the part where it's just white people. Well, if you want to be true to the founding fathers, a lot of y'all need to pack your shit and go back to Europe. It's true. It's just the truth. I'm just saying. If we're going to go back to what the founding fathers intended, black folks is in chains. Non-Anglo-Saxon white folks are on planes back to Europe. Chaos. How far back are we going here? You know, it's just, and the fact that people who are non-white actually think this is a place for them to exist, I don't know what to tell y'all. Nick's not hiding anything. He's not hiding anything. He's not sometimes he obfuscates, but this is so obvious. I don't even feel bad for people like Vivek Ramaswamy anymore, Dinesh D'Souza. It's like, bro, like, y'all choose to cling on to these motherfuckers and they keep telling you over and over again they don't want you here. So, at the end of the day, it's so obvious that the right wing is going to have to contend with a growing base of white voters and white people in their base who are saying, hey, we don't want diversity. We don't want women. We don't want anything that's non-white, straight, male, and Christian. I'm not sure how Nick is going to do his whole Catholic takeover of Protestant white America. I think that would probably turn into an entire war. But yeah, like, if you think you belong in this movement, you're wrong. This is a growing base in the Republican Party that they have not gotten under control yet. And if you are black, Jewish, non-white, and non-black in this country, if you aren't straight, white, male, and Christian, you don't belong over there. And it's not because I'm telling you shouldn't think like you shouldn't be over there. They're telling you this. They have yet to get control over this aspect of their base, and they can't. They can't. Look at how radical MAGA is now. They can't control the base. It's impossible. So, if you're someone of non-white Christian background and you support this movement, your ass is about to find out soon. Trust and believe, you are about to find out soon. So, I just think it's always funny when I see people of who are non-white supporting this movement. It's like this is not I don't know why you think that is your home politically, but eventually you will find out. You will eventually find out. So, it is what it is. I thought this was hilarious. At this point, like I don't feel any sympathy for conservatives of color. I don't. I just don't. Like, after Republicans voted to keep Confederate statues in the Capitol, I was like, you know what? If you're a conservative of color and you choose to associate with this, anything that happens to you is funny from now on. Literally, it's not even a tragedy anymore. It's just funny. I will be laughing. It's all a joke to me. These people, despite how many black folk have served this nation honorably and have died for this nation, they still thought it was appropriate to keep Confederate statues in the Capitol. In spite of the Articles of Secession being public to read, despite the cornerstone speech of the Confederacy being public to read, they still saw fit to keep those statues in the Capitol. Put them anywhere else. Museum. The Capitol? After I saw a litany of white Republicans vote to keep that, I was like, you know what? From this moment forward, if you are black or brown or any otherwise and you choose to hang around there, anything that happens to you is now funny. So, that's my take. No apologies, no sympathy. I have no more sympathy for these people. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.